Hi everybody, this is Dan Talks Sense, and today I wanted to do a bit of an impromptu fragrance review, and the reason that I'm doing this is because of my experience today in wearing this fragrance. This fragrance is called Vanilla Intense Eau de Parfum by the House of Parfums Vintage. It's part of their Pineapple Vintage range. So many of you will have an interest in Creed Aventus. It is one of those iconic fragrances that even people that don't collect fragrances or passionate about perfumes will have heard of it. It's like the Hulk Hogan of perfumes. It was released in 2010, and my first experience of wearing Creed was in its infancy, about 2 years in. So I'd heard about Creed Aventus and that it was this amazing fragrance that everybody should try. So I was in Birmingham with 3 of my friends. We went into John Lewis and we went to the Creed section, and we started spraying on the fragrances. So I tried on Creed, and this was a vintage Creed Aventus. So by that I mean that it had this really lovely smokiness, this birch note. Now if you can imagine sitting outside with your friends, sharing stories under the stars, having a few beers, that smokiness you get from the little fire, that's the lovely smokiness you had. You also had this vanilla and black currant that came in. You had a lovely musk in the base, and you had juicy, fresh pineapple in the opening. Okay, so I went trigger happy with this Creed Aventus. I then went out to a few of the pubs with my friends, and the feedback that I had from people around me was something I'd not experienced before when wearing fragrances. I had a lady that said, "What are you wearing? I need to buy that for my husband, it smells amazing." I had blokes coming up to me, saying, "What are you wearing, mate? That smells really good. Where can I buy that?" Making the odd joke about how good it was. Literally, it was leaving a massive scent trail. I even remember when I caught the taxi home with my friend, the taxi driver was like, "What are you wearing, mate? Because that smells so good." And after that experience of wearing Creed, I was, like many others, desperate to get something that replicated that vintage bottle of Aventus. Since then, I've purchased decants of Aventus, I've purchased real bottles of Aventus, and nothing has quite come close to those vintage batches. Now, I'd heard, like many others, about the House of Pineapple Vintage and how they got quite close to real Aventus. And there are some reviewers out there that really slammed the company. I mean, George the Fragrance Apprentice, he absolutely smashed the brand. He ended up chucking the bottle, the actual box in some dirty water, really smashed the brand and said that it wasn't very good. I don't think he agrees with copying Aventus, and it didn't have the same quality. Many fragrance reviewers out there have also praised it to the heavens and said this is really close to the real thing. What Damien Stammers, the perfumer, has done is he's took the different batches of Aventus and he's done interpretations of them and called them different things. So there's a different batch of Aventus where the vanilla was more prominent, so he created Vanilla Intense. So I bought this one because I love the note of vanilla. When I bought a decant of it, I really enjoyed it, and it was really a really good performance. So I went out and I bought a full bottle of this. Now, I don't wear this all the time because to me it smells quite regal and expensive. I was lucky I managed to buy this off Fragcom UK. I paid £55 for 50 mils. I thought that was a real sterling deal, really good value. And I put it on today. Now, today I went for breakfast with my mother's sister and her partner. I went into Weatherspoons. We also went into Home Bargains and got some stuff out of there. But the reason that prompted me to do this review is because when I went into Home Bargains, the 2 ladies that were working, they were stacking the shelves, they were talking. As soon as I walked in, they stopped, both looked at me, and I thought they either recognised me from somewhere or something's prompted them to stop talking. Then they started talking about how nice I smelled. Then they started talking about Sauvage and people, what fragrances they wear. And it was a really good experience because I love all compliments, and when people's talking about you smelling nice, it gives me a fantastic feeling, a real massive confidence boost. Some people like myself will wear fragrances for the confidence boost and the compliments. Some people just wear them because they love perfumery, they like the art of it and what goes into it. But for me, if I can get a fragrance that makes me smell regal and like I take care of myself, and it gets real positive feedback from people around me, then for me that is a brilliant fragrance. So I just wanted to drop a video really to say that I feel strongly about this brand and about this fragrance, that this is quite close to the real Aventus. It is by no means close to vintage Aventus because you haven't got the balance of the notes, you haven't got the smokiness, you haven't got the musk, you haven't got the fresh pineapple, all balanced at different points of fragrance. What you have with Parfums Vintage, the pineapple vintage range, one note will be more enhanced than the others and will stand out more. For me, this is close to modern batches of Aventus from 2017 up. I think this is very similar to those batches. It is a very good release from Pineapple Vintage, Parfum Vintage brand. I don't get the I don't agree when reviewers say that it smells synthetic in the top. For me, this is a very natural pineapple note at the top. What I would say is when you've been wearing it all day, I think that I've had enough of that now. By the end of the day, and the muskiness comes in, I wouldn't quite say it's stale, but I say the muskiness when I've wore it all day, I will think, well, actually, I've wore it today, I've experienced today, I'll try something else tomorrow. It's not something I'd wear every day, but the experience of wearing it today and every time I have wore it has been absolutely spot on. The projection is well above average, the performance is well above average. This projects on me for a good 6 hours. I may be lucky with my skin chemistry, but for me, this is the best clone of Aventus that I have smelled. I'm still in search of that magic of earlier batches of Aventus. This doesn't quite hit the mark. I haven't smelt a fragrance or a version of Creed, a modern version of Creed, which is close to those vintage batches. And that is really disappointing because if you could get the magic of those vintage batches again, that'd be absolutely amazing. But I just thought I'd drop a video today because it's fresh in the mind, and I think it's important as fragrance reviewers that we feedback on our experience of wearing this fragrance. We're not swayed by other people. We talk from our point of view, our experience, and when I feel enthusiastic about a fragrance, I will drop an impromptu video like today, just to tell you how it went and how I feel. Fair play to the perfumer and the brand because they've got a good quality fragrance out there. In terms of price, I wouldn't pay the full price, and the reason for that is I believe that if you're a clone house, then you shouldn't be charging over £100 for a clone of something else. And that's just my personal view. I think that it's quite expensive for a clone. I think if it was its own fragrance and you never smelled Aventus, maybe it would be worth. But I just think if you're cloning another fragrance, then you shouldn't be charging over £100. So I managed to get this really cheap, in a Fragcom UK page, and you have Fragcom Bangladesh, you have the Emporium Ascents group, which was started by Max 40. There are many groups out there you should join if you want to buy partials or decants of fragrances like this. So I hope you enjoyed my little video about Vanilla Intense today. I've got to say the vanilla note in this is splendid. It is a real gourmand version of Aventus and a real good release from Parfums Vintage. So if you've had a positive experience of wearing this fragrance or any other versions from the house, please let me know in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed already, I really appreciate all your support, so please hit the subscribe button. I'll be dropping more videos in the rest of the week. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you all very soon.